My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe.
I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like, ugh.
The internet is currently witnessing one of the most brutal self-destructions of a comedian's reputation we have ever seen, and the reason for this happening isn't a bad stand-up set, but the woman he married. You probably know Akash Singh as the sidekick on the Flagrant podcast, the guy who usually laughs the hardest at Andrew Schulz's jokes.
I've heard some legendary tipping, right? Like, you know, I remember I was hanging with Rogan once, he drops the car off, it's 100, picks it up, it's 100.
Okay, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
He's responsible.
For years, he branded himself as the nice, safe guy who finally found love later in life. But listen to this. That wholesome image is currently being burned to the ground by his own wife, Jasmeet, who has decided to start a podcast where she exposes every humiliating detail of their marriage. Akash spent years building up this narrative that he and his wife were these innocent, traditional souls who connected because they were both inexperienced in romance. It gets crazier because he used to brag about how she was this pure, naive woman who hadn't been with many people.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what?
He put her on a pedestal, acting like he won the lottery while he was just a humble guy with crooked teeth. But listen to this. The moment she got a microphone, she completely shattered that illusion, revealing that while Akash was struggling with confidence, she was living a very different life, and the contrast is absolutely humiliating for him.
This guy on Tinder, this was before Bumble or Hinge, like this was like in the OG days of the app, and this guy, I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to fucking hook up, and I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore. Oh my!
You might remember a few years ago when Akash went viral for attacking the Fresh and Fit podcast hosts, acting morally superior and calling them toxic for their views on women.
The way I look at it is, you know, you watch them you see them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien. Yeah. Y'all are the first motherfucker out of...
The reason for this happening was that Akash wanted to defend the honor of women everywhere. It gets worse though, because now the host of that show, Myron, is taking a massive victory lap.
So my husband actually interviewed these red pill guys on their podcast one time, and I won't mention their names because who the fuck even cares. But it was so funny because he actually called them out on their shit and their like stupid fucking beliefs and how they say that they're helping men when actually what they say is like really detrimental and damaging, especially to young impressionable men. Because he went at them, the red pill guys, like fans, were attacking him afterwards, found pictures of us, and because I'm like objectively attractive, you know, they were saying that we couldn't possibly have got together in a natural kind of way or like in the wild, like it must have been an arranged marriage.
Akash's wife has single-handedly provided the red pill community with endless ammo by behaving exactly like the stereotype Akash claimed didn't exist. And the internet is having a field day watching the irony unfold. She recently started describing her role in the marriage, and it gets crazy. She proudly introduces herself to the audience by stating she is a stay-at-home wife who refuses to cook or clean simply because she doesn't feel like it.
For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Jasmeet. I'm a stay-at-home wife, but I don't cook or clean because I don't feel like it. And my husband is a full-time stand-up comedian, and he buys me lots of nice things.
She openly admits that her entire lifestyle revolves around Akash working full-time to buy her nice things while she contributes absolutely nothing to the household. But listen to this. She doesn't say this with shame. She says it with entitlement, bragging that his money is our money, but her money is her money, painting herself as a financial liability rather than a partner.
How do you and your husband split finances?
We don't.
We don't.
If you want to work, all for that. But like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his account, that's a fucking red flag. His money is our money and my money is my money. That is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day. And it's just like the best fucking part is like living with your best friend.
Also, it's like there's
who buys you designer shit.
My wife is objectively gorgeous. Me, no. So that's what you got to do. I got to work my ass off, and then every time she starts looking at me and she starts assessing my beauty, I just throw a bag at that bitch. Chest pass!
If you thought the financial entitlement was bad, it gets worse. Akash recently tried to do a romantic gesture by upgrading her wedding ring and suggesting they renew their vows in India. Instead of being moved by the emotional commitment, she focused entirely on the size of the rock.
First of all, I want to say to Amma, happy birthday. All of this is possible because you told me I could do anything that I wanted. I think the only thing you can do is close it down.
Oh,
Jasleen Singh, will you be Jasleen Singh forever again?
yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! How big is this? Thank you so much! What do you say? This is so...
Courtney Mustard. You were sitting in her lap.
The reason for this happening is that she seems to value the status symbol over the man himself, even physically dodging his kiss in the video. She openly joked that marriage is just a man begging on his knees while the woman gets paid in jewelry, reducing their entire relationship to a transaction. It gets crazier when you look at their daily dynamic. In one particularly painful clip, they discuss who is allowed to be tired in the relationship. Akash mentions that when he comes home exhausted from earning the money that funds her lifestyle, he wants some sympathy. But listen to this. Instead of comforting him, she complains that she is tired too. When he asks what she possibly did all day to be tired, she replies with a straight face, "I went to Pilates."
Tell my wife I'm tired. I want her to say, I'm sorry, baby. I understand. That must be exhausting, buying me all these things. Instead, she goes, so am I. And if I dare open my mouth to go, what the fuck did you do that made you tired?
I went to Pilates.
She genuinely believes her elective exercise class is equal to his full-time career, and the disrespect in her tone is palpable. Beyond the laziness, her sheer incompetence is staggering, and it gets worse. She admitted on the podcast that she tried to go to the bank to open her own account but couldn't figure it out, essentially laughing off the fact that she lacks basic adult life skills. The reason for this happening is that Akash has coddled her so much that she has become completely dependent on him, yet she treats him with disdain. The audience isn't laughing with her, they are laughing at the fact that a grown woman is bragging about being unable to function without her husband holding her hand. Akash has always sworn that his wife was different, but listen to this. She recently went on a rant reminiscing about her college days that completely exposed his innocent wife claim as a lie. She detailed her time in frat houses, bragging about having a roster of guys she would rotate through.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. The top 4 songs when I came back for my sophomore year, Click, Pop That, Bands Make Her Dance, Birthday Cake, the 2 Chainz. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like, ugh.
I met this guy on Tinder. This was before Bumble or Hinge. This was in the OG days of the app. And this guy, I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, not really wanting to fucking hook up. And I woke up in the morning and my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God.
It gets crazier because Akash is sitting right there, nodding along like a doormat, while she destroys the very narrative he used to defend her against his critics. It turns out the traditional girl he thought he married was actually living a wilder life than he ever did. Just when you think it can't get any more disrespectful, it gets worse. The ultimate humiliation came when she started talking about their mutual friend's husband, a man named Nav. In front of Akash and the entire internet, she started gushing about how attractive Nav is, saying his face never declines, and speculating about his anatomy in a way that no married woman ever should. The reason for this happening seems to be a complete lack of respect for Akash.
Would y'all ever have an together with your husband?
Priya, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so fucking good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
As she practically drooled over this other man, calling him a king who measures up to her husband, if not more. The dynamic between them in these clips is painful to watch. Then when they bring Nav onto the couch, and Akash looks physically uncomfortable while his wife makes intense eye contact with this other man.
That I love you, but I actually love you and want to all of you.
I mean, just look at the eye contact between them.
She even says she wants to clone Nav, and the tension is so thick you can cut it with a knife. But listen to this. Akash doesn't check her. He doesn't get angry. He just sits there, laughing awkwardly, effectively letting himself get cucked for an audience of less than 1,000 subscribers. Now, the comment sections on the Flagrant podcast have turned into a war zone. The reason for this happening is that his fans have lost all respect for him, labeling him a simp and a cuck who let his wife walk all over him. It gets even messier because instead of addressing the issues, Jasmeet doubled down, calling her haters dumb and claiming that the backlash is just making her more famous. She doesn't seem to realise or care that her pursuit of internet clout is actively burning down her husband's career and making him the laughingstock of the comedy world.